Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another NIKKE reaction. Today we have one that confused me a little bit because so many people wanted me to see Alive, and I was like, didn't I just listen to that? But no, there's another whole song, Alive, that's not I Feel So Alive. So just thought that was kind of funny to mention because I legitimately had to like look up in my own videos to make sure I didn't do this video and then find out that it's a whole different thing. So without further ado, let's get to this one, shall we? Let's go. And of course, this is the version with like the second version stitched in. And holy hell. You can't just start like that. I went straight into it. Woo! Damn. Chill out, Cosmo. Bro's got some like complextro house going on here. Like that's so much. That's so much movement, so many samples. Love that piano line too. That wasn't fair. Doing that like just a measure of halftime. There it is again. A little bit longer that time. Hell yeah. Cosmos, damn. This must be the other version because this is unique enough. It feels like a natural evolution. Love the rhythm change on this. For those who weren't listening on like really good headphones or like a good speaker system, that sub drop there was sick. And always playing around on the offbeat there. Back to that halftime thing. That's such a tease. Cosmo, buy me dinner first. Woo. I love that. Fade out from here. I don't want it to, but it's going. No, come back. I need it. I need more of it. Dude, that was absolute fire. It had everything I love about EDM in it, everything I loved about dubstep as well. Like, it just borrowed from so many genres. It was really just this melting pot. Truly, I adored every second of that. Everything from those more like complextro elements in there, the standard EDM stuff that you expect out of house and whatnot, and then stuff like trench dubstep, like rhythm in there. Like, hello, a melodic bass line, like in this, like, bro, chill. I love it. Calm down. Like, literally everything about this song, down to the vocal chopping and the way it was structured throughout, that halftime tease is absolutely unfair and filthy as shit. Wash your mouth out, Cosmo. That's dirty. You can't just be doing that, you know? You clean your room. God damn. Looking like Asmongold up in this shit. And to break down a little bit more of what I mean by like the way things are structured in this one, a lot of that does lend itself into that like halftime time tease that he was doing in like that one measure where he extended it, that allows a lot of room to breathe. And in EDM, you need some of that, because if you're just going hard all the way through, stuff like hardstyle will do that, literally starting hard and ending hard, and it's just constant energy. That can get very exhausting very quick. But for stuff like this, stuff with dubstep elements especially, you want to slow it down a little bit. You want to have a little bit more room to play around, mess with some synth stuff, get a little bit more creative. Stuff like hardstyle doesn't get too creative, in my opinion, because it's largely just meant to be energy. You throw it out there, there's just this constant on the bass, and like that's it. Everything else is frankly irrelevant. You're just dancing around like an idiot, flailing your arms like a moron. That's the whole genre. That's the point. For stuff like dubstep, melodic dubstep, complextro, it's in the name for complextro. It needs complexity. You need to have these other elements in there dancing around, sharing that space, and allowing, while it is still complex and it requires some of that complexity to overtake the song, you still need to let the song breathe. Producers like Camellia have absolutely perfected that in the complextro scene, and all of that other complexity, that super high BPM sort of stuff is just something that they have perfected, and allowing that room to breathe and allowing the listener to process it instead of just constantly bombarding them with just nonsense all the time. There is definitely a balance to making it just sound good, feel good, and make it something you want to listen to on a regular basis. Kind of like what I said with hardstyle, where it's like that's the point, is to be hardstyle, just constantly just cranking that bass and letting it go. That's great when you want to listen to it, but it's not something even the biggest fans of hardstyle will be like, yeah, I want to listen to that 24/7 in my car, while I'm working, while I'm studying. That's a little bit much, you know? Like, you have to adjust your expectation for the music. The situation needs to be right, and you can't just play that all the time. For stuff like complextro, very much the same. You have to let the song breathe a little bit, let people hear what's happening, and let them reflect on it a bit, even if it's for a few measures in there. And stuff like that pulsating, just one measure, half measure, those little moments that allow your brain to reset and go, oh, that was really cool. That's that moment that the brain synapses can activate to process what just happened. Because if you're constantly doing all that all the way through, it gets way too exhausting, even for the most ADHD brains out there, to process and handle all at once. You have to let things pace out, and that's why, like producers I mentioned, Camellia, managed to perfect that and just know exactly how much to push before backing off and allowing the listener to breathe and get that time alone. And Cosmo nailed that here too. While this wasn't exclusively complextro, and in a song that's just complextro, that is definitely more required to just have a moment to breathe, in this song it paced itself out with those other dubsteppy elements and allowed for a lot more feeling to be sent through, a lot more of that melodic dubstep feel in there, and it just was amazing. And that's why I mentioned trench dubstep, because that's a weird subgenre of dubstep where it's like rhythm dubstep, which is the other name for it. They're both the same thing, but I just call it trench. It's a little bit easier for me, but it's used a lot. It's inspired by like Jamaican music, and how a lot of the times in Jamaican music, that rhythm section is all one thought. Like, the rhythm section in music as a whole is one thought, but bass and drum kit, or bass and just any percussion, that's the rhythm section, right? It's like a sister to reggaeton and reggae step. So like, that's kind of the vibe they're going for, but specifically with the bass line, the melody in it, that is what trench dubstep is. And it has been evolved, of course, throughout the decade plus that it's been around, but that's kind of what it's become and what it's known for, at very least. And he did that in here, which is weird because you don't really hear that too often, especially in like video game music. It's not a subgenre, it's not an idea, a concept that gets borrowed from too often. So when you hear that in there, that melody actually being played, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, that's not a bass line anymore, that's the lead. But it shouldn't be. Like, it makes your brain kind of recheck itself and make sure you're not going insane. And again, Cosmo just nailed that. I don't know if that was intentional at all. I think he might have just done that because it sounds cool, which it does. But like, having that in there on top of all these other genres he's pulling inspiration from, like, it's got to be on purpose. At least I would hope so. If not, like, happy accidents do happen. But at the same time, I want to believe that he's just that cracked, because this song is nuts. He absolutely nailed this. this. I'm adding this to every playlist I have for every mood. I said earlier that there is like a certain mood for everything. This song has a little bit of everything in it. It can lend itself perfectly to any situation you're living in. Maybe not studying, you know, it might be a little too energetic for that for some people, but for my ADHD ass brain that's constantly vibrating, if I were still in school and studying, I used to listen to stuff like this because it helped just keep my brain active in the sidelines while I was trying to focus on the thing in front of me. It helped a lot. That might not help anyone, and everyone's a little bit different in that way. It's not like everybody experiences ADHD in the same way, or autism for that matter, so it's very possible it just doesn't work like that for some people. But for me, it did, it does, and I love this, and I'm adding it to everything for that exact reason. This is probably my new favorite Cosmo song, and that is a huge high praise. I adore this shit. But with all that said, and all my hype now kind of dying down a little bit, and me trying to get back to center here, thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for liking the comment that requested this one. I've seen a few individual comments as well, so thank you to everybody who requested this one. This is a fantastic song, and I cannot wait to listen to it more and more on my own time. But if you have anything else you want me to listen to from NIKKE, by all means, leave it in the comments below, and I will do my best to get to it next time. And of course, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for all the other stuff that I have going on, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!